So I just have a few things that I want to share with you today to kind of help you with registration and getting our boys to day camp. So remember that day camp is the camping experience that brings the camp to the boys, and so we would really encourage, all boys to go to camp. And it really is the highlight of their year. They really have a good time there. So just some things you need to keep in mind. All packs who have boys come need to have a 1 adult to 4 boy ratio. You can't skimp on that. You can't forget to do that. That is a requirement. Now keep in mind that your adult ratio can be anybody over 18 years old that can come and walk with your boys, and that person will need to be there all day unless they find someone to come in and fill for them. So that's an all-day position through the whole camp day, and they're with their boys all day. Now keep in mind that tigers need to have a parent with them all day. That is a requirement through the BSA. Someone, it doesn't have to be a parent, let me rephrase that. A parent or a guardian can come with them. So it could be a grandma or a grandpa, it could be an aunt or an uncle, but it needs to be somebody who will be with them by their side all day. All health forms should be completed before your boys get to camp. It would be great, even if you don't collect them as a Cub Master, if all parents were aware that health forms should be filled out, completed, signed, and ready to go hand in on that day of camp. It saves them a ton of time, because if your boys don't have their health form completed when they get there, a parent cannot leave them. So make sure that the health form is signed, and the front page of that health form is a waiver. Now I know sometimes we don't always read the fine print on the front page, but that waiver will let the boys do BB guns, archery, and it also lets us take photographs of them. So if there's any part of that parents don't want their boys to do, then they need to state that on that form. Those front page waiver forms will be taken off of the health form and sent to the Sioux Council office and be kept on file. So just so you're aware of that. The health form will be returned at the end of the day to the parent or the Cub Master. If not, those will all be destroyed. The other thing you need to keep in mind on health forms, make sure that if there are allergies of any kind, whether that's insect or food, medication, that those are noted on there so the health officer has an idea in case something should happen. And the other good thing is to make sure that the shots are updated on there for the little guys, to make sure that they have the proper shots that they need to be with us. It can also be completed when you get there. So it's a lot easier on everybody, especially mom and dad who are signing them in, or maybe grandma and grandpa who don't know what should be on that health form if they're completed when they get to camp that day. Make sure that when you're registering online that you also are indicating food allergies. With food being prepared and served this fall, we need to know if there's anybody who has an allergy to any sort of food. The health forms, as far as health forms go, they should be given to your health officer, as soon as possible. I know not everyone sends those to Sioux Falls, especially with the online registration. But if you know your camp director or you know who's in charge of your day camp, it would be a good idea if health forms could be given to them, a week in advance, just so the health officer can look everything over before the day of camp and have an idea on anything that needs to be addressed medical-wise before then. Registering online this fall is a nice thing to have. So you can register as a pack online, or you can register individually online. You can also pay for that online as well. And then all adults will need to pay the $3 fee for lunch. And your new recruits, so I know as we get into the fall season and school starts here, we're all going to just have a ton of boys who are going to join Scouts. And with that, those boys then will not have to pay the late fee of the $10. So you'll register them online as well, and then that would be a $25 fee instead of the $35 late fee. So something else that's really important about camp is that all Scouts need to be signed in and signed out by a parent or a guardian. It's not a drop-off system. So if your parent drops off a boy and does not sign him in or out, we as camp directors will be calling those parents to make sure they know their boy is with us and that they should come back and sign their boy in. So at the end of the day, they should not leave without being signed out first. We do make phone calls for those boys who are not signed out to make sure we know where they're at when they've left our presence. The other thing that I would suggest as the Cub Master, or if you have one adult who comes with your pack, is kind of going to be in charge of what goes on with your pack that day, that person stays until every boy in your pack is gone home. Especially for those of us that don't know the boys that come to our camp very well yet, it's easier if they have a grown-up that they know, stay with them until their parent gets there. It's easier on the boys that they have someone they know with them until then.